Provincial Leader Nqaba Bhanga and Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor Athol Trollip as part of the voter registration drive. He will visit a number of areas in the city. Nelson Mandela Bay is a DA-led area but is under severe pressure to keep its position of power as the coalition with the UDM is not functioning and the mayor is facing a possible vote of no confidence due to be brought by the EFF come next month. From now, let's cross over to our reporter Kim Daniels, who is in Port Elizabeth. Very good morning to you, Kim. Give us the latest, what's happening on the ground this morning.
Good morning. It is a beautiful day here in Port Elizabeth at the City Hall, but even with this beautiful day, people haven't been coming out in numbers. Yesterday was the opening day of the voters registration, and even yesterday the people came down in drops and drabs, but besides that fact, the process of registration has been going smoothly, unlike other areas in the Eastern Cape. But here to speak more to us is DA leader Mmusi Maimane, who is here visiting various voting stations in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. Mr. Maimane, can you please tell us how important is it for voters to come out, and not just citizens but youth, because we know with them they're the lowest percentage bracket that has registered, and taking into consideration, you know, the challenges that they face with varsity fees, tertiary education fees and finding jobs, how important is it for them to vote?
2019 is a historic election. When we reflect on 24 years of democracy, we must stop now and ask ourselves the question, have we advanced freedom as much as we could have? When over 9 million people are unemployed, of which 2/3 are young people, it ought to be something that should say to us, we need change. We need a government that will bring capability. And I think what's going to be important in 2019 is that South Africans who can come out and say, look, let us vote for the DA. And I think what's important is that South Africans can recognize the fact that we're the only party that can represent all South Africans. In fact, when it comes to young people, we want to be able to introduce a year's program for young people to learn internship. I've already been going across the country where I've been speaking to companies through a program called Vukuzakhe, saying, let's get an internship program for young people. And ultimately, what has become very clear is that whilst we talk about higher education fees, we must also talk about the employment opportunities post that opportunity. So I think it's a unique time, and it's going to be an important election in 2019. They can also choose a government that says to poor people, look, poor people in this instance don't matter. And we've seen it now with the increase of VAT. And it shows that in fact our people are going to be even more poorer. It's also they can pick a government that says to them they want South Africans to own land in their own rights as individuals. For black South Africans, white South Africans who own land and say we can prosper through private property ownership. And that I think is absolutely important, because we don't want South Africans, particularly black South Africans, to be tenants in the state. So this is the change that people are going to be picking in 2019 between the ANC or the DA.
I think it's safe for us to say that the DA is a youth applicable party. What have you guys been doing, or what are you planning to do to attract the youth and to encourage them, you know, to vote DA or to stick with the party?
Well, I think it's beautiful. We have young people here who've come out to register to vote. But I think one of the most exciting things is the fact that here we had one of the youngest MPs in the country. Because in the DA we believe if you are good enough, you are old enough. We are not here to tell people that you need to be a particular age to be an MP. In fact, when I look at the cabinet, sometimes I worry. What I'd like is a cabinet that represents diversity, young people, old people. We must show South Africans that we're the party not only that attracts young people, attracts talented young people, but we're a party of the future. And the future is about making sure that we give young people an education that prepares them for that future. In the future, it's about saying, how do we ensure that items such as data are applicable, that they must decrease so that young people can gain access to that. So as a party, we've always been at the forefront of saying, what is our future for South Africa? A future that's inclusive, a future that opens up opportunities for young people. And that's why today I wanted to ask young people to come and register to vote for their future.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Maimane. Good luck for the rest of your campaigning.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. The DA will be going across to various stations in the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan to encourage young people and citizens alike to come forward and bring their ID books, bring their ID smart cards to update their registration information or just to register for the 2019 elections. But that's us from UNPE. Back to you in studio.